All right, so right now I'm going to withdraw the sodium chloride, 1.8 of sodium chloride from the vial. This is probably one of your key pieces when you're doing this, is to not lose volume. So you want to maximize all your volume. I'm not using any of the low dead space equipment, so this is all 1 cc syringes with 1-inch needles and a 3 ml syringe with a 1-inch needle, 23 gauge, in order to do this work. You need to be able to preserve every last drop this way, or you will not get 6 doses from each vial, and at every step there's an opportunity to lose volume, and if you do, then you get 5 doses, and if you're able to not, you should be able to get 6. At the very end of this training, I'll show you the difference between low dead space syringes and what you can get, and a regular needle and syringe. So starting here, just going to draw more slowly than you're used to, and much more carefully than you're probably used to as a healthcare provider. Normally we like to do things quickly, and we do a lot of tapping and moving of bubbles. Here the goal is to not create any fizz or bubbles if at all possible. So you want to do everything smooth and controlled. This sodium chloride, you actually can tap the bubbles out here. My key thing here to do is to not create any fizz, and so therefore when you're moving this part, you want to make sure you get exactly 1.8 without any bubbles. So we'll just look at that, and we've got no bubbles, no fizz. So at this point, we're going to put it into the Pfizer vial and depress very slowly and very carefully, and generally to the count of 20. All right, so when you've completed putting all of the liquid into the vial, this vial is highly pressurized, so instantly, if you take your finger off the plunger, it's going to come up all by itself and go back, and it will take liquid back up with it, unless you've actually taken the needle out of the liquid in the vial. So you want to make sure your needle tip is above the liquid, and even at this point when you draw back, it sucks liquid back into the vial. So I will usually depress very gently again in order to ensure that you don't have liquid or vaccine, in this case, because I drew a bit up into the vial, sticking to the sides. So it looks like I've pretty much got every drop from the vial. So I'm just going to show you that we'll let this come back up, and you want to withdraw your 1.8 of air and out. So at this point, your vaccine is diluted and appropriately inverted to be mixed, and so you're going to start drawing up the 0.3 ml doses. So again, your goal is 6 doses. So key items here is you want to go slow, so slow down, be steady. Withdrawing the diluted vaccine too quickly will result in it fizzing or bubbles occurring in places that are hard to get out. And you want to remember that you can't tap or be too rough with the vaccine. You want to be very gentle. And if bubbles do appear, just restart the process by expelling the drawn volume back into the vial and redraw the dose while you're still in the vial. And I'm going to run through a few doses here and focus mainly on the difficulty in collecting the final dose. Now you're ready to drop your first dose of mixed vaccine. So the first dose is really easy to get, but there are a few tricks here as well. So what you want to do is hold your bevel along the side of the vial, and you want to tilt it a little bit, and you want to draw nice and slowly, not too slowly, but really steadily, because what you're going to get is a nice IV-like drip. Somewhat like pouring a really good beer into a glass. You've got everything flowing down along the side, and you create no bubbles, no airspace. So it's really, really easy to take that vaccine and to just prime your needle
inside of the vial. Okay, so when you draw that up, you've primed it up to exactly 3. You want to be completely precise, no more, no less. Just working on getting my bevel down. Another important piece with drawing up this vaccine is that if you get an air bubble, you want to work with it right away, but you're not able to shake or tap. So whatever you can do to prevent getting bubbles at all, you've got a way better chance at getting your 6th dose because of the fact that you're not working against your, so I've able to nicely prime that and get it to 3. All right, so this is the last dose in the vial, and this is the tricky one to get. But if you've done all your other steps throughout, you shouldn't have a problem getting 6 doses. So what you want to do with this last vial is you want to slide your needle down, bevel down as close to the neck of the bottom as you can. You also want to make sure there's no lipid clinging to the side of the vial. Sometimes if you roll the vial around a little bit, those lipid pieces will fall down. So your needle's bevel down on the bottom, and as you can see, very carefully drawing up every last beautiful drop. And you do need to manipulate your syringe, your needle, slant your vial, and we've got some bubbles in that one. So we're just going to actually depress it a little bit and try that piece again with the last bit. We sucked up every last drop, and as you can see, we have quite enough left for the 6th dose in order to successfully prime that last 0.3. And there we go.
This demonstration was completed using regular equipment, not low dead volume equipment. So low dead volume equipment is ideal when working with Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. You don't have to work nearly as hard. You still want to be gentle with the vaccine. You still want to be accurate, but the equipment does make all of the difference. So you'll notice in this picture that we did some experiments using normal saline. So the syringe on the left is used just to demonstrate the amount of liquid that it takes to get a 0.3 ml dose with a regular needle and syringe, and on the right the amount of liquid that it would take to fill a needle or syringe actually that is low dead volume. So there's quite a bit of vaccine that is lost just sitting in that dead space in a needle. So having the appropriate equipment would be really great. But in the interim, I hope that the tips that I've shared with you do help in obtaining that 6th dose.